For every 1,000 gold prospects, one may become a mine. There are over 700 mining companies on the ASX, and most will never produce a single ounce. But here's the part that nobody's telling you. You can eliminate most of them in under 5 minutes. Buckle up and I'm going to show you how. I'm going to give you a 7-point framework that I personally use after 10 years in the mining industry to help me to filter out what's worth looking at, worth the crap that you should probably just ignore. And just to be clear, this isn't 5 stock tips. I'm really sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not a financial advisor. But what I am giving you is arguably better. Teach a man to fish and all that. So just sit here for 30 seconds and I'm gonna show you how to narrow everything down. So then what's left is the few companies that actually matter. Let's go ahead and start with the fastest filter, which is cash. Before the geology, I look at cash. Every listed mining company publishes a quarterly cash flow report. On the ASX, this is called an Appendix 5B. Other markets have equivalents, but it's still the same principle. Now, here's the only equation that you need. Cash divided by burn equals survival. That's it. If a company has $2 million in the bank and they're burning $1.5 million a quarter, they've got just over 1/4 of real drilling left. After that, they raise capital, and capital raises dilute you. So the first question shouldn't be, is the geology good? It's, can they afford to find the geology at all? Minimum that I want to see is 4 quarters of runway. 8 is even better. So if it's less than that, I'm going to move on, and you probably should too. Now, you've just eliminated half the market in under 10 seconds. Now let's quickly zoom out here for a minute to paint some perspective. There are hundreds of these companies. Most are tiny, some are even under $10 million market cap. And only 5 to 15% of these juniors ever become producers. For gold, it's roughly 1 in 1,000 prospects. That's how many become a commercial mine. So if you're picking randomly in space, you're not investing. You're just buying a lottery ticket. Look, even if you pick a good one, this is not a short game. S&P Global looked at 100 mines worldwide. What they found, average time from discovery through to production took 15.7 years. The newer projects, they took closer to 18. So those drill results that you're excited about today, they may not become a mine until the year 2040. So decide early, are you investing long-term or are you gonna trade the short-term hype? Because both of those are completely different games. Filter out the ones that don't meet your own investment goals. All right, that's the reality. So let's look at the next filter. Proven terrain. Next, you have to ask, where are they actually drilling? There's a massive difference between drilling in a proven geological belt and drilling what I'd call in geological nowhere. So, a few proven belts in Australia. Southern Cross Greenstone Belt, over a century of production. Patterson's Province, that has given us Telfer, Haverion and Winu. Bendigo Zone has given us Fosterville. The Lachlan Fold Belt has given us Cadia, Ridgeway. These belts produce. The geology is understood and the mineralization has already been proven. Now this doesn't guarantee a discovery, but it means that the rocks are actually capable of hosting ore. Now compare that to a company exploring in an area with no mines, no model. They might find something, but the odds and the market are against them. Now let's take this one step further in point 4. Are there other operators in the same structure? If a major mine has an operation 5 kilometers away from where this junior is exploring, these guys have already spent probably hundreds of millions of dollars proving that the geology in this region actually works. That's free validation. Best case scenario, you've got a strategic investor. If a producing mine owns equity in a junior explorer, that means a technical team, people who read these reports for a living, have looked at the ground and have decided that it's worth backing. That's not a guarantee either, but it is a strong signal. Now, point 5 is a geological filter. You don't need a geology degree for this either. Does the company's deposit type match the terrain that they're in? If someone's exploring for porphyry copper in an Archean greenstone belt in Western Australia, that does not make geological sense. Porphyries form in different tectonic settings completely. Now, if they're chasing organic gold in an Archean greenstone belt, well then that's another story. That's exactly where you'd expect to find orogenic gold. You also need to think about which mining method is implied by the grade from the drill holes. Now remember, open pit gold needs roughly 0.5 grams per tonne to have an economic open pit mine. Underground needs closer to 2 grams per tonne. If they're reporting 0.3 gram per tonne hit, even if it's in virgin areas, the math doesn't work, regardless how exciting the press release sounds. If you've seen my 5-point framework video, this is where criterion 2 and criterion 5 come into play. Grading context and geological coherence. Apply them here. Let's look at point 6, which is going to be who's on the register, who owns the company. Now, the top 20 shareholders list is one of the most underused documents in mining. What I'm looking for, 1, strategic investors. A producing miner on the register is meaningful. 2, I'm looking at the management. Is the MD buying shares on the stock market? Do they hold meaningful personal positions? Or are they just collecting a salary and options? Because skin in the game matters. An MD selling into strength is telling you one story. An MD buying and holding is telling you another story. It's not a guarantee, but alignment really matters. This brings me to point 7, my consolidation play. Now, this setup most people miss. It's discreet and it happens behind closed doors. Sometimes the gold was always there. We know it's there, but the opportunity has been locked behind politics, behind fragmented tenements. Too many cooks in the kitchen, too many landholders to make decisions, all with competing interests. And then one company quietly stitches it all back together. Take Hope's Hill in WA, for example. Golden Horse. Over 216,000 ounces of gold produced historically. One day, operations just stopped. Not because the gold ran out, but because the ground was fragmented. Golden Horse spent years consolidating this fragmented ground, 18 separate transactions. Then they become the first company to properly drill it in decades. The geology didn't change, the access changed. When you see a junior that has assembled a coherent land package in a proven belt, that's already value creation before the drill rods even start spinning. So really quick, let's look at our checklist that we've got so far. 1, we've got the cash. Do they have it? 2, think about your timeline. Are you investing or are you trading? Filter the ones that you're not. 3, the terrain. Is it a proven geological province? 4, are there any nearby operators already producing in the structure? 5, the geology. Does the deposit type match the regional geology? Does it match the mining method? 6, the register. Who owns the company? Who's on board? And 7, we have consolidation. Has someone already done the hard work of reassembling the ground behind closed doors? If a company's failed early in this list, you don't need to go any further. Most investors spend their time trying to find winners. Professionals, they spend their time eliminating the losers. Because in this industry, that's where most of the money is actually lost. None of this guarantees success, but it does shift the odds in your favor. And in a game that's this hard, having an advantage is everything. If you found this useful, please subscribe. I often break down mining companies from a geological perspective. No promotions, no hype, just analysis. If you drop a company name in the comments, I'll add it to my list of companies that I'm going to review. The list is getting quite long now, but I do read all the comments. I've created a PDF of my framework. If you want a free copy of that, I'm going to put it in the comments down below. So please go ahead and grab it. I'll see you in the next video.